The man made video calls to his deceased wife every day, but he never expected that the girl couldn't accept this form of communication, because as time went by, the memory signals gradually faded. One day, they would still be separated forever. With tears in her eyes, she said goodbye to her husband and entered sleep mode. George was left helpless, so he decided to accelerate his AI research and activate prototype number 3 ahead of schedule. He connected 2 data cables to the motherboard and began copying his wife's memories, converting the visual signals into code, and writing everything into the motherboard. But George didn't notice that his number 2 unit was secretly watching nearby. The memory transfer would take 35 hours, so George decided to head out for work. To keep unit number 1, who had the intelligence of a 5-year-old, from getting bored, he turned on a cartoon for her, then got ready to leave with unit number 2. But number 2 reminded George that number 1 also wanted to help, but with the mind of a 5-year-old and no arms, she couldn't do anything but cause trouble. While repairing the signal tower, George noticed that the usually lively number 2 had gone silent. After asking him about it, he finally asked the heartbreaking question: with the upgraded number 3 about to be activated, would George abandon him, just like he did with his older sister number 1? George grew frustrated. How could number 2 compare things like that? Finally, number 3's memory reconstruction was complete. George pressed the power button, but unexpectedly, countless human memories clashed with machine parts, causing a violent rejection reaction. Malfunction was imminent. George rushed to the console and switched number 3 to standby mode. Her consciousness needed time to adjust to the mechanical body, and number 2 had witnessed everything. He accessed number 1's training logs and found that George used to be very fond of his clumsy big sister, but ever since he was built, number 1 had been neglected, and now his own crisis had come. George suddenly offered to inspect his legs. Number 2 didn't understand. He immediately ran a self-check and found his legs were fine, but George insisted on checking them himself. Just as he was about to start, a call came in from upper management. This genius engineer had been researching in a secret lab for 2.5 years, but had produced nothing except a clunky iron robot. No real results. The company was considering shutting the lab down, but the contract was for 3 years. He insisted they honor it, and promised to deliver results in the remaining 6 months. After brushing off the executives, he knew time was running out. The company would discover units number 2 and number 3 sooner or later. He had to move forward quickly. Number 3, now adapted to her body, was rebooted. Other than a lack of sensation in her legs, she felt completely fine. Once her emotions stabilized, he resumed training her sensory systems and found everything functioning well.